Given that upon writing this script, roughly 75% of players chose to romance Invisigal over Blonde Blazer, I've got some thoughts on it. My first instinct was to just assume because of the sex dream in episode 4, most players went full gooner and just wanted to see some more animated boobage. I still stand by that assessment to a degree, and although I don't have any statistics to go off of, I feel like at least 25% of that 75% did so for that reason. The other 50, however, I believe are making a mistake that many people often do when presented with a woman like Courtney. They want to fix her. The tragedy is that they never will. In this video, I will lay out my case that romancing Invisigal is a trap, and that the quote worst ending for Invisigal is actually the best ending for Robert and the story of Dispatch, not only in Season 1, but moving forward into Season 2. Part 1. Overview. If you do a quick search on YouTube, you will see how the internet has absolutely fallen in love with this game, and YouTube has been saturated with videos and reactions to it. If you for some reason clicked on this video and don't know what Dispatch is, it's a choice-driven, narratively focused adventure game with minimal gameplay. Although what's there is simple and enjoyable, with maybe an exception to the hacking minigame, as it might overstay its welcome when you do it multiple times in a row. It's a bit of a spoof and homage to the superhero genre, which is why many of the heroes have ridiculous-sounding names like Waterboy or Phenomaman. A quick aside. If you're one of those people who still have a boomer-like mindset and think that animated or superhero stories are icky and for kids, allow me to make the point that great characters and writing transcend genre. How many people do you know that never liked fantasy until they saw Game of Thrones? One of my personal favorite pastimes is taking people who say they don't like science fiction and showing them Battlestar Galactica and watching their minds get blown. Furthermore, how sad is it that studios like Marvel and DC, with their endless money and catalogs of great heroes and stories, haven't produced anything even half as emotionally moving as Dispatch for at least the last 6 years? In general, in my daily life, I'm a pretty jaded and icy-hearted individual. When it comes to real-life tragedies, I tend to shrug and just say shit happens and move on. Unless I'm watching The Last Charge and The Last Samurai, or Leonidas calling out to his queen before he dies, Mel Gibson crying freedom, Tom Hanks telling Matt Damon to earn this, Samwise saying, hell, almost anything. The entire Lord of the Rings trilogy is an exercise in controlling my sniffling and tear ducts. Hell, I even cried during the terminal. And this game's story hit every note for me. By the end of episode 1, I was intrigued. By the end of 2, I was hooked. 4 melted my heart. 6 broke it. I cried. When I showed a friend of mine my cinematic cut of my first playthrough, not only did he not even notice most of my edits where I cut out the dispatch and hacking gameplay, but only after my Steam achievements popped up in the lower right corner of the screen did he even remember he was watching a video game and not a show. And yeah, the ending of episode 6 had him crying too. My own playthrough ended with what the internet has collectively titled the bad ending, although I personally think this is the best ending not for the character of Invisigal necessarily, but the story of Dispatch as a whole. Vizzy turns evil and kills Shroud, picking up his mask, and after giving Robert the pulse and a wink, disappears. I remember feeling upset when the game said I neglected her, and that this is what turned her to villainy. I totally supported her. I refused to cut her, I untied her, I trusted her, I supported her in every way except going to the movie, or returning the kiss as she lays on me in episode 7. This is because at the ripe old age of 41, I have dated several women like Invisigal. Beautiful, funny, witty, and most importantly, insecure, emotionally unstable, and temperamentally volatile. Even physically abusive. I've endured more than one closed female fist in my face, so when I saw Vizzy, I saw what Chase saw, an emotional black hole. Part 2. Respect versus infatuation. The number of men I've seen make this mistake is staggeringly depressing, and I say that with full acknowledgement that I belonged in that category for most of my life. Similar to how becoming an adult is recognizing that Jenny is the villain of Forrest Gump, D is the only correct choice in Starship Troopers, and recognizing that Blazer is the only correct choice for Robert. Blazer's attraction is based off of respect for Robert, not only as a hero, but as a man. This is highlighted in the later episodes when she reveals she, like him, is a normie. Her powers come from her amulet, Robert's from his Mecha Man suit. She's caring, affectionate, and supportive. Invisigal, however, is infatuated with Robert. She's attracted to him physically, partially because he's covered in scars and bruises, which she's into, and is more intrigued that such a powerful and famous hero like Blazer is into a washed-up dad-bod superhero with no powers. Her attraction is more like a fan being attracted to a celebrity than a mature, healthy adult relationship that is on display between Blazer and Robert. Yes, Blazer's not perfect. She forgets herself a little during the first episode and does let things get just a touch carried away, but quickly reestablishes boundaries. You can also see how uncomfortable Blazer is when Phenomenon shows up. She grimaces a little when he kisses her, and has a very awkward tone when she introduces him as her boyfriend. Another criticism I've seen is that during the house party, when you're dancing with Vizzy, Blazer is in the background dancing with Malevola, and not doing what Vizzy does when she sees you dancing with Blazer. Some have seen this as a sign of lack of interest or even disrespect. I disagree. Blazer is a confident, complete, and whole person. Her sense of self-worth does not come from what others think of her. Vizzy's does. Vizzy's sense of self-respect is centered around how others, in particular Robert, see and think of her, not what she thinks of herself. When you project your sense of happiness or self-respect onto another person, you are giving that person complete control over your emotional state. Should the relationship ever fail or fall apart, she would be absolutely crushed and devastated, and she would have to start the whole process over again, either by fixating on trying to get Robert's affection back or finding someone else who she can latch onto. This is the equivalent of being in a shipwreck and jumping from debris to debris rather than swimming to shore. Her sexual advances are also a sign of insecurity. Women like this will very often throw themselves at potential partners sexually as a way to try to keep them interested and from leaving. It's a smokescreen. They're trying to keep you focused on that top-notch grade A crazy girl bedroom aerobics so you don't notice the toxicity beneath. And if that's not enough, she's reckless, selfish, regularly disregards boundaries, and is emotionally and even physically abusive. And the worst part is that unless she's going to some quality therapy, she's going to self-destruct. Her locker room confession in episode 7 is a sign of this, when she says that she doesn't deserve love. That is the biggest sign of a victim of a narcissistic abuse. Essentially, whoever fucked her up in the past constantly told her that she is shit, will always be shit, and will ruin everything around her, and so she should feel lucky to get the tiniest amount of validation or affection that they give her. So when she meets someone like Robert, who gives them the respect they actually need, it feels alien, like it's too good to be true, and they're constantly afraid of ruining everything, like they've always done. It's like Chase said, she's an emotional black hole. Before I continue, please note that I enjoyed the Vizzy romance. The movie theater scene was cute and touching and reminded me of more than a couple of my own similar experiences. However, I would argue that trying to fix her isn't coming from a genuine place of wanting to fix someone, but a place of wanting to indebt her to you, or Robert rather. When you try to fix someone like this, it's a way of saying I see the real you, which is great, but it comes with the unspoken understanding of I'm the only one who sees the real you, so you can never leave me. It's coming from a selfish desire for personal validation, not from a selfless desire to help another person. This is why in my playthrough I approached Vizzy as a mentor as much as I could. She needs guidance and mentorship, not romance. She's not ready for that yet. Other people do not make you whole. Other people do not fix you. You must be whole yourself first. You have to fix yourself first. This is why her villain arc makes more sense narratively, which leads me to part 3. This city deserves a better class of criminal. If you romanced Vizzy Girl and got the good ending, Season 1 is wrapped up with a nice little bow. The Red Ring is leaderless, Cooper Sonar is forgiven and welcomed back to the team, and Blazer is still a leader and mentor for the group with no ill will towards Rob or Vizzy. There's no more drama to look forward to. Another villain-type menace is going to be created from whole cloth and the story repeats itself. More of the same. Not that there's anything wrong with that, given how great Season 1 was. However, let's consider the alternate route. Vizzy kills Shroud not out of her own sense of vengeance, but as a way to save Rob. When she stabs him, he hasn't even pulled out his revolver to shoot him yet. She knows Rob won't kill Shroud. He's a hero. Heroes don't kill. She's convinced herself that she isn't one, and she can make the sacrifice, kill Shroud, and take the stain of that murder on her soul to protect the man she thinks she loves. And with her at the head of the Red Ring, she becomes Rob's new nemesis, a perfect assassin, able to turn invisible at will. She knows all of SDN's inner workings, knows every Z-Team member, knows their strengths and their weaknesses. The theme of redemption is now doubled. Every interaction with her is potentially dripping with drama and heartache as you desperately try to redeem her from an even deeper pit of despair and villainy, and she would likely not see herself as deserving of that love and redemption, leading to more and more conflict. Like Batman and the Joker, a constant pull between stopping her and redeeming her. Juicy as fuck. And I don't know about you, but that sounds way more intriguing and entertaining and even more thought-provoking and potentially emotionally devastating than the essentially blank slate for Season 2 we'd have if you support her enough to take the bullet for you in the end of Episode 8. And that's it. Those are my thoughts. The story of Dispatch has touched me deeply in a way very few stories, not just video games, ever have. And considering at the time of writing the script, it has almost 30,000 concurrent players and almost a 250,000 at its peak with the releases of episodes 7 and 8. I think it's a safe bet I'm not alone. I know I went hard on Busy, and I hope you understand, despite my clickbaity title and thumbnail, I do not hate her character. In fact, I adore her. She was complex, layered, and nuanced, and I enjoyed every moment I had with her, even when I broke her heart. Because seeing the pain on her face from my rejection, even though I believe it was the right thing to do, it broke my heart too. And that's the beauty of Dispatch. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, keep up.